What's up YouTube? It's LDS Reliance. Today I wanted to do a video kind of discussing my perspective, my take on the possible situation of a grid down without rule of law situation. First of all, if you don't know what without rule of law is, go look it up on Wikipedia or something like that. Familiarize yourself with it. I'm going to gear this mostly for people who already know what that situation is and kind of give some of my perspective and my thoughts on that. First of all, I've done quite a bit of research on this. It's one of the big reasons why I prep, and I want to preface this by saying I am concerned about it. I do think it is a possibility. I think it's a strong possibility. But I have a little bit of a different take on it, and a lot of that is based upon my religion, being a Latter-day Saint or a Mormon, because I have a lot of faith that things will work out. But part of it's just common sense, in my opinion. First of all, a lot of the videos that I watch on YouTube and a lot of things that I read out there are by extremists. I'm making a generalization here. I don't want to offend anyone. There seems to be a lot of combat vets that kind of paint a picture of blood and gore, and people are going to come after you, and you've got to protect yourself, and you've got to have all this tactical training. I don't buy any of that. There's no precedent for that in this country. I know that we can't count on that this country will not protect us forever. I believe that, but you know, we're not going to, I don't believe that we're going to get attacked by a foreign invader and that we're going to have house-to-house combat, or that the lights are going to go out and your neighbors are going to be killing neighbors. I just don't buy that situation. I do buy a short-term situation such as a Katrina situation, Hurricane Katrina, in the aftermath of that, where there were looting, there was people were terrified, people were scared, people ran out of food. It caused normally lawful people to go into loot grocery stores and pharmacies and places like that. One point of clarification though is that not once have I seen a documented case of looting in homes. These were people that were driven to hunger and thirst, or just out of greed to go get beer or cigarettes or whatever they wanted, because they could, or weapons. They were hitting grocery stores, Walmarts, pharmacies, places like that. They were not hitting average everyday homes. Now, yes, if that situation had been prolonged, maybe a month instead of just a couple weeks, then maybe there would have been some of that. But there's not really a precedent for that, and so it's not really high on my list of things that I'm prepping for. And just again touching kind of on the combat vet, first of all, we're not U.S. military. We're not equipped for that. We're not trained for that. The average prepper is not going to be able to pull that off. It doesn't matter if we have 40 guns and 50,000 rounds of ammo. There's always going to be somebody out there that outguns you. There's always going to be somebody out there with better training than you. There may be entire gangs of hundreds of people. You can't possibly prep for that. So doing it is pointless, in my opinion. I'm gonna make myself and my family a less likely target. I'm going to fly under the radar. I'm not gonna, try to announce that I have things. I'm going to keep that on the down low. I'm going to make my house as uninviting as possible if that were the case. That's really all you can do. I'm going to make it so that maybe that there will be easier nuts to crack, so to speak. I'm going to make myself look uninviting, or that they may take some losses or something like that. But beyond that, remember also, even a .22 bullet will go through walls. So if you think you're safe in your house because you've got automatic weapons and you've got fire extinguishers and all this prepping stuff, not going to happen. Anyone who wants to can just walk down the street with an assault rifle and light up your house and kill you inside your house wherever you are. An AK will probably go through 4 walls, possibly more, before that bullet even slows down. So I think the extremism on the prepping with all of the guns and everything is a little blown out of proportion for a without rule of law situation. What I would say for just kind of the average prepper or someone like myself that's got some faith that I don't think that things are ever going to be that bad, and if they are, that will be delivered from it. I would rank, obviously, water is my top #1 priority. You can only live without water for about 3 days. That's a fact. There's no disputing that. You may get attacked, but you may not. So water is a higher priority than guns, period. Food, #2, food. Again, 2 weeks, 3 weeks without food is all you can do. That's a biological fact. You're not going to get around that. So stocking up on ammo and not looking at your food is suicide. #3, I would put shelter. Again, exposure to the elements kills. That's a fact. Whether that's brutal Texas 105 degrees summer days for weeks on end, or whether that would be 20 degrees below in Minnesota. Whatever that is, you can die and probably will die from prolonged exposure without shelter. #4, I would put energy and fuel. Again, to keeping yourself cool, keeping yourself warm, being able to cook, food. Those are very, very high on my list. They're higher than guns. They're higher than ammo. But I will put protection, guns, ammo, training, things like that, #5 on my list. Like I said, I do believe that there is a possibility of a without rule of law situation. I just don't think it's going to be as extreme as a lot of people out there do. #6, I would say, are supplies, such as sanitation. Sanitation spreads disease. That's a killer. Overlooking toilet paper and ways to dispose of your waste is a bad idea. And #7, a lot of people overlook this, but in a without rule of law situation, you need some recreation. You need something to take your mind off of things. You're going to want some candy in your food storage. That's a good psychological boost for you. Sorry, my light just went on. There we go. And entertainment, such as books, things that don't require power. We can't depend on that forever, obviously, even if you've got solar power or something else. Having books, board games, different things that you can do to keep your mind off of a situation. Like many people say, even if this were, an extreme without rule of law situation were to happen, and there were looters and gangs and things like that, it's not going to be a constant thing. So during downtime, when things are quiet, when you're just hunkering down, you're not going to want to be anxious 24/7, and so you're going to want to have things to take your mind off of that. I would definitely put that as a #7 high priority. There's many more below that on the list, but I would concentrate on those things. Those are the things I'm going to concentrate on to protect my family. If someone comes after me and wants what I've got, they're going to take it, and I'd rather live to live another day and choose not to fight that person, not to try to kill that person in the face of overwhelming odds, as opposed to going down in a blaze of glory. It's just my opinion. Anyway, hopefully you enjoyed watching, and I'll post more thoughts on this subject as I get them. Thanks, guys.